another pretty much domination by the Wolverines last weekend, sitting at 10-0 in the overall record with a 7-0 conference record, tied for first place with Ohio. Then, like I said, it was a pretty dominant performance. Defensively.
Yeah, offensively, defensively. JJ, that was his worst game so far this year. But again, he's not getting help with the drops and stuff. The things that most sports, it can be a game of inches, and if you gave JJ an extra 2 feet on the whole season, his completion rate would probably be 50% higher. They're right there. But I read a couple of interesting theories, and one's way out there. But there's this guy that laid out a pretty convincing argument that.
Are you talking about about the JJ versus
It can't be
Cade?
true, but it's fun to think about. Purposely missing these throws by just a little bit. This is Harbaugh's big master plan, and then they're going to come out and air it out. And I don't believe it, but this guy,
dude,
this guy had. I wish I could find the tweet. I tried to find it this morning. I couldn't find it. It was like 20 tweets long. And he's laying out. It was like the biggest conspiracy theory ever, right? And it was funny and entertaining to watch. But so that's the out there one. But the other one is, and I've seen it from quite a few people, is, and this is, I believe this to be true, is that one of the reasons that we're not getting love is that we're so dominant that we're boring. We're not an air raid team. We're not a big trick play team. We run a couple against Michigan State. And I'm sure we'll see some against Ohio State. But all we do is basics really well and do whatever we want whenever we want for the most part, especially when it comes to running the ball and stopping the run. Be interesting to see today if can't think of his name, but that back from Illinois, to see if he gets in the game. Looked like he had a pretty
Chase Brown
injury. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're saying that he's probable to play today.
Yeah,
I did hear that today when I was listening to. I don't know. I was listening to one of my podcasts I listened to. Whether it was inside Michigan football.
That's a strength on strength deal, right? And I think it'll help us. And of course, if we shut him down, people are going to say it's because he wasn't 100%, and maybe it will be, but I don't know. But there's a lot of truth to that boring factor, and I think that's part of the reason why we're not getting the love nationally that I think we should. You think we should. Most Michigan fans think we should. They all go back to the strength of schedule, and I get it. Our strength of schedule at the beginning of the year was weak, but after you figure in this game and the Ohio State game, we're going to go from like 60 something to top 10 with opponents' win-loss record. Right now I think we're like 48. Our opponent record's like 45 and 58 or something, and it's gonna jump up considerably because Ohio State's going to be undefeated likely, and Illinois is going to, hopefully, if things work out the way we want them today, they're going to have 3 losses.
4. But
we
want Illinois to have 4.
Yeah, 4.
We don't want them to have 3. That means we lost.
Okay,
that's no good. No bueno.
We're gonna it's gonna work out, but I read another article yesterday about these guys, and there's LSU's one of them. There's 4 or 5 teams that basically have the same schedule as us, but we played ours boom, boom, boom. And another thing that was brought up, a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but I believe it to be true, is that they're talking. ESPN's pissed that the Big Ten.
This is all going to turn. I was kind of going to talk about this. Is that this is all going to turn into a fucking piss match between the SEC and the Big Ten. ESPN has the SEC, Fox has the Big Ten, and
so the article I read compared it to what's going on politically in our country right now.
Yeah, I read that one too.
Section of the media, and it makes sense, and I do believe that to be true. Michigan, and they haven't earned the respect in the last 15 years, but and the other teams have. But listen, if you look at our last two seasons, that kind of speaks for itself. So we'll see. But I don't believe that if we lose to Ohio State, I do not believe we'll get in. But I believe if Ohio State loses, they will get in, just because of that narrative and everything that's being pushed.
I don't think whoever loses that game gets in. I think the same narrative will be the same as it is for Michigan, because it's if you look at LSU, LSU ain't getting in. I'll tell you that right now. That's no bueno. If LSU gets over a fucking one-loss Michigan or one-loss Ohio State team, I will fucking go to the fucking college football playoff, wherever the fuck they are, and do their meetings and burn that place to the fucking ground, because fuck that. That'll be SEC bias, because if they're getting in, fucking Tennessee's getting in, and that's fucking 3 SEC teams bullshit. And if that's the case, probably fucking TCU's in there. That's got to be the 4th team. But no, there's no way in hell I think LSU gets in there unless Michigan, Tennessee, and Ohio State. If Michigan, Ohio State, and Tennessee all lose this weekend, or even if Tennessee loses next weekend, then possibly. But Michigan and Ohio State both have to lose this weekend, but that'd even be a question. But that's just besides the fact. I just went down a fucking rabbit hole and forgot what the fuck we were talking about. But I mean, yeah, I don't think
Ohio State has the, and I have no doubt that narrative will still be pushed. But Ohio State has the recent track record to say, "Hey, we belong," and maybe that
I get it, but we were there last year.
Us winning, we'll say, okay, maybe Michigan's still that good, and Ohio State still deserves to be in because they lost to, we would be number 2, and 2 would have lost to 3 or 4, however it ends up being. On the flip side, if we lose, it's going to they're going to say, see, we told you Michigan wasn't any good, but Ohio State wasn't any good, blah, 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 blah. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully when we don't have to talk about it, because I do think these guys have earned that right as long as they take care of business today. But
I truthfully think that we're even if we lose to Ohio State, because I think Ohio State's one of the top 4 teams in the nation, no matter what happens. I think next week's games has a very, 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 very good chance of topping the 2006 game. There's so much on the line, like we talked about, because we all know, like we were just saying, loser of that game is probably not getting it, in my opinion. Whoever wins it, go to the Big Ten championship game. Likely going to win the Big Ten. Likely.
Right.
West is complete garbage. Then, in my opinion, you're playing for the Heisman Trophy.
Probably.
I mean, I don't know who. Probably come down to Stroud and Corum, because I mean, with losses, it kind of hurts everyone else. And then you're playing for a playoff spot. It's a huge implications that come into that game next week. But we'll see that. But real quick, for what I was going to say was, when does the Big Ten, NCAA switching from the 4 to 12 and 24, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, we will never see a Big Ten team, 2 Big Ten teams in the playoffs ever, and at least in the 4-team system.
No.
It won't happen this year. It won't happen next year. The SEC bias is just too strong, and that'll never happen. Explain. That's one thing. Explain. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Explain.
If LSU loses again and Tennessee loses again and we play a close game, I think there's an outside chance that we could get 2 in this year, but they do not want that, and they're going to do things are going to have to fall in
dramatically
a way that give them no choice. You know what I mean? Like maybe we have a double overtime game where we win or they win. It's an all-time classic type deal, you know.
No, it'd be like 06.
And the country will want to see that again, and they'll put a lot of pressure on them. But again,
everyone country wanted to see it in 2006 too, in the BCS. But.
If we lose and they lose, right? If we lose and Ohio State goes in and they put in 2-loss LSU ahead of us, I will go burn down the SEC headquarters myself. Fuck them.
No,
I think LSU is the second best team in the conference right now. But I think there's 4 or 5 teams that you could argue 2 through.
Are you saying an SEC?
6.
That LSU's the second? No.
Yes, they are.
The Bama win
right
was
now they are. They're
Bama win. Bama win was a fucking fluke. I feel that was like their one big.
There's still a win.
I get that, but that was their one big win of the season. Like I think they didn't play Tennessee. Tennessee, in my opinion, would wipe the table with them. They haven't played Georgia, have they? I don't know. I had to look at LSU's schedule. Hang on before I start just spouting off stats here.
They played Georgia and
yeah, they're gonna play them now and they're gonna get fucking their asses wiped. Yeah, it's like fucking play UAB today. What the fuck, man? I fucking hate the SEC.
Right. And that goes back to what I was talking about, about the schedules is these guys play these cupcakes late in the season and early, and we just had a really shitty run to begin with, and people are making a really big deal about us.
Oh, never mind. They did play Tennessee.
Buying out UCLA. Yeah, Tennessee beat them, but I don't think that would happen again. And they lost to Florida State by one point in the opener. And I think they run Florida State.
That game was hilarious to watch. I almost went to the game because it was down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Brian Kelly, haha. I mean, I can't fucking stand Brian Kelly, but the fact that LSU is in the fucking SEC championship game just irks me.
He is a good coach. We'll see what happens.
Anyway,
speaking of football opinions and what team's better, how did we do last week on the picks?
God damn it! Fuck! Yeah. Stop bringing this up.
So why don't you start listening to your old man who's clearly showing you that he knows way more.
I don't know. I gotta find our fucking shit.
Right.
Where's it at? You. I mean, I'm still there. I gotta have the next 2 weeks fucking big.
What's the score?
38-12 and 27-22.
So you need me to have an offer.
No, not this. You can have a 5-for-5 week, and I have a 10-0 week. We could.
Yeah, you gain 5, and I'm still 7 ahead.
Yeah, and the next week you just suck.
Right. You need
next week. Listen, next week if I need a big fucking week, I'm going against every single pick that you make.
No, that's not the way it works.
100%. 100%.
You pick one, I pick one. You pick one, I pick one. You don't get to cherry pick all of them. So
I don't even have the games picked for today yet. So I'm gonna be doing that shit as we go. I'm just gonna go in ESPN, but
So one thing is it's unreal, right? And it's been a great season, fun season. But man, I can't believe it's almost over already. It's
oh
just
yeah,
flown by.
I agree like completely. It's just like I said, it's blown by. It seems like just yesterday I was sitting down, getting ready to watching College Game Day for the first time this season, waiting to play Colorado State, waiting to see, hey, who's the better quarterback between Cade and JJ.
Yep.
I mean, it's been a great season, like you said, but we'll enjoy it while we still got it and cry when we're gone. Real quick, I know we kind of talked about this at the Open. It's just kind of a question. First two games, as we talked about, the last two games, JJ really hasn't been on his throws.
He
We
hasn't.
talked about it a little bit.
But he
Like I
hasn't
said,
gotten any help either.
are we worried? Are you worried that JJ is not the person that
Not
he was once supposed to be?
not even a little bit.
Okay, I figured that's just because it's.
But I will say something. Yesterday, I think I seen something. I think it was on Twitter, posting his stats to this point last year and Cade stats.
They're about
And
the fucking same. And
they are. He's just a little bit better, but I feel pretty confident that Cade would have improved just as much to probably equal those stats this year had he been the starter and been healthy. So it's just scheme, right? You know, we seen JJ last year hit those downfield balls and accurately. And I think he was in and garbage time a little bit more, and they kind of gave him a little more free reign. That's one of the things that gives that wacky conspiracy theory guy some credibility, I think, is that, hey, he's done it, unless they've messed with his mechanics. But
would you put it past fucking Jim Harbaugh though? He's a psycho, crazy motherfucker.
And I would not. That's the only reason why I give him a little bit of credibility. He's the only person I know out there that would be that dedicated to be like, hey, we're gonna fuck up this. We're gonna make this whole season look down a little bit so we can come out and just whack it. But it's so far fetched. It's nuts. So
it is like I don't know. All right, back to the Nebraska game real quick. Just a few more little tidbits and notes here. 117-3 now. We haven't given up points in the second half in 5-6 games. We gave up 3. Went to 117-3 from that 100 to 3 in the second half. Let me pull this back up. I mean, like you said, we're JJ for 17, 129, 2 touchdowns. Blake Corum passed 100 yards in the first half. Finished with 163. A touchdown. But how about CJ Stokes? I mean,
looked really good, right?
And this is the second game in a row that he's looked good coming out. Hope that I haven't heard anything about Edwards.
No, and it's
not that I've read about.
It's really weird. It's 2 weeks ago, right? I texted you, fuck, and then went back and forth. He come off the field and he had his hand under his shoulder pads and was rubbing his shoulder, and I don't think we've seen him after that. Maybe 1 or 2 times, and played really light last week. But there's been absolutely nothing. And some people are talking about, he had a leg injury earlier in the year, and the week following that happened, and I was scouring the message boards looking for something, because usually I know that I'm not the only one in the world that noticed that, but apparently I was. So I just assumed I was wrong. but that he played kind of sparingly last week made me think I was right. So I don't know. It's hard to say. We're never going to get any real information out of him about where his health is, but
Well, no,
I
we
wouldn't be surprised if he sat out today just to try to get him healthy for next week. So
I'm
with
completely okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
Would not complain about that whatsoever. Just because
one thing, and I know we're on to Nebraska, but I want to talk about is as far as this boring thing goes, is that in the last 24 games we're 22-2.
Stats talk for themselves.
Right. So
record, wins, losses, doesn't matter.
You can complain all you want, but I will never forget, and I know you won't either. Our 10 years or whatever it was of shittiness, and I'll take boring and dominating over exciting and losing 1 million times out of 1 million. So
I think 10 years ago, I think we went fucking. No, that would have been. Never mind. 10 years ago would have been. We were Sugar Bowl, I think. I was going to say 10 years ago we were absolutely horrible. Or I don't remember what year we won the Sugar Bowl. But anyways, never mind. My thought just completely got derailed there. 2012 schedule. Oh, yeah. No, 10 years ago we were 8-5.
Right.
The year after winning the Sugar Bowl, we lost to Alabama that season and in Texas, and then lost to Nebraska, lost to Ohio State.
So one other.
That was that was the year that we lost to fucking South Carolina at the last second. God damn it!
David Clowney come in, murdered fucking Pistol Boy.
No, it was
Smith.
Vincent Smith.
So one other interesting stat: Michigan's the only team in the country that has led for every single second of every single fourth quarter of this season.
Yeah,
right. So, if that doesn't say dominance, I don't know what does. I don't expect that to be true next week, but I expect a dogfight. But we'll see what happens.
I do too, and I mean, not really.
And really, I wouldn't have it any other way, especially with everything that's on the line.
Oh yeah.
It'll be stressful to watch if it is.
I'll tell you right the fuck now. If I walk into that stadium, we blow them fuckers out. I'll probably end up in jail.
Oh, your old buddy Hack, he's getting a little bit cocky the last couple of weeks with his posts and stuff.
I know he is. It's okay.
Oh, it is. I'm saving his receipts though, so I can throw them back at him.
But yeah, other than that, the Nebraska game kind of closed that up. It's what we did all season, really.
Yeah.
Dominated start to finish. Never wasn't in. There was no doubt in that game. I mean, real quick, as much as it'd be cool to see Deion go to Nebraska, honestly, I think Nebraska needs to keep their coach right now.
Well, he's done a nice job, right?
Well, and from what they were talking about, what I've read, all the there's players threatening to leave unless if Nebraska doesn't hire him. So that right there shows to you that he's a fucking good coach.
Yep.
He's for the players, and honestly, you need somebody who the players want to play for.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
What I mean?
Yep.
That was just a little side note there, but like I said, domination, 34-3. I don't. Other than that, it was what we should have did when we should have did it.
Yeah, so it's weird, right? As I can't see one of our big things has been time of possession. I don't see it this week.
I got it. It was like 34, 35 to like 24.
Right.
But I seen it earlier. Um,
So yeah, boring game. We did what we had to do. They were never in it. They never had a chance.
yeah.
We were pretty vanilla, which I'm okay. I'm okay with. I expect that again today, and then we'll see it. We may see them try to work on airing it out a little bit if it indeed is what we all think it is. We're just a little bit off.
Well, I mean, you might have to. I mean, we'll transfer to the Illinois game. I mean, if Illinois' rush defense is what it says and what the stats show it is, man, we might have to air it out to open it up a little bit. I don't honestly think it's as good as whatever it is, 80 allowing 80 rushing yards a game or something like that.
Right.
I
don't believe it either,
so.
but they may be.
Could be, and that could force us to have to throw it to open up the run game and run some play action here and there and hit deep shots. And if JJ can do it, I don't think we have any problem. That's really where my concern comes in today. Is that this is we're at home. If we were on the road, I would be very, 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 very worried today. Like and it probably just goes more back to just the past 10 years.
Well, listen, we're 10 games. We're 10 games deep into the season, right? And they got the number 2 defense behind us in the Big Ten, giving up 12.5 points a game, and we're giving up 11.2. Ohio State's fallen down to 5th, 15-6, but Illinois is 8th in points scored at 24.5, 24.7, while we're at 41.4. Yeah. So that's kind of the tail of the tape. I read the Detroit News pretty regularly, especially during sports season, and all their predictions were like 30-17, 28, 15. They expect it to be a low scoring, grinding game, and it may be.
Yeah, no, I agree. We just can't. No matter what, we just can't look past them because they're obviously they're a good team, and they're really in the same boat as we are. Even though they have 3 losses, that fucking West is a goddamn shit show, and they're playing to get to the Big Ten championship. They need to win the football game,
right?
That West is just. I think there's
and another side note is Bielema's father passed away this week.
Mother,
and what's that?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. I said mother, I thought, but it doesn't matter.
And maybe I'm wrong on that.
Either way, not a good thing.
No, not a good thing, and that might give them another rallying point. To hey. So there's a lot of things that are going against us, and I'm with you in the fact, like, if it was there, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'd be a lot more nervous. I feel better because they've lost, I think, the last 2 weeks, but we'll see what happens. That's why they play the games.
Yeah, it's senior day also, so our players are going to be fucking up, ready to go.
Yep.
Last time in the big house for a lot of our players. Even not even seniors. There's a few players out there that are probably done after this year and move on.
Absolutely.
I think. It could be a little different just because of the, what's it called, the NIL now. But again, as we know, U of M isn't paying people to come play football like other schools are.
Right. So the other thing that gives me comfort about Illinois is they have literally played nobody Wyoming won, lost to Indiana second game of the season, beat Virginia, beat Chattanooga, beat Wisconsin. Wisconsin really down here. Beat Iowa 9-6, beat Minnesota, beat Nebraska, lost to State, lost to Purdue. Then they got us in Northwestern, so they haven't run a gauntlet of a schedule. You know what I mean? They pretty soft schedule in my opinion.
Yeah.
So pretty easy to pad your stats when you have and the same thing can be said for us, I guess. But when your schedule's that soft, my argument when the people say that, like especially about Blake Corum, is the first 3 games Blake didn't play or played very little in the second half of all 3 of those games. So he really didn't pad his stats. But
Mike, yeah. Speaking of Corum, I'm reading this right now. That way I don't forget it. His total rushing yards right now, 1349. The highest total by Wolverine since Denard Robinson in 2010 was 1702, which is, I'm pretty sure, a Michigan record. And it's the most. I mean, it's the most of a running back since Mike Hart's freshman season, and he had 1445. And Corum, in my opinion, breaks that, and in my opinion, honestly, probably breaks Denard's record by the end of the season.
If he doesn't break Mike Hart's record, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean that's.
And he
under 100 yards.
Yeah, he would need. Well, it just depends how far we go. But if we get 3 extra games, he'll certainly.
I mean, we're going to get at least 3 games.
Possibly 3 extra,
possibly 5.
Right. I'm talking about
3 extra after Ohio State. Got you.
Yeah. So we'll see, we'll see, but if we make it to the playoffs, yeah, he'll almost certainly beat Denard's record. He only need like 80 yards a game to do it. So
Corum's also 3 rushing touchdowns shy of breaking Hassan Haskins' season last year.
Yeah, and I think he probably does that today. At least ties it.
Yeah, I mean he's.
So I know I'm all over the place, which kind of seems to be the case, but I think
that's fine.
I think that in order for Blake Corum to win the Heisman is one, we got to beat Ohio State, right? And 2, he's got to have a Biaka Batuka Haskins type game, because that will be the most watched college football game of the season when it's all said and done. At least regular season game. So, if you could do it on the big stage, just like Desmond and Woodson did, yep. Hats off to you.
Yeah, gotta have that Heisman moment.
Yep.
I mean,
and the best players show up on the biggest stages, right?
Yeah, and I think trying not to look too far ahead, but I think he does it. I do. I'm a little worried about the Heisman thing with a running back, because it really, you don't really get running backs that get it anymore. But also, I don't think we've really seen a running back since probably Derrick Henry do the stuff that he's been doing.
Correct, and I think that's lost, because when Derrick Henry was doing what he was doing, the whole nation was enthralled with him. And Bama machine was in its glory days, but Corum's not getting the love that he deserves.
I agree,
but that can all be fixed, right, with the Ohio State game. So we'll see.
Yep, like I said, but today's game, I think we win it fairly easy again. I don't think it'd probably be kind of like a last week's game, like a 35-3, 35-10 football game. Somewhere around there. I'll go with 35-10. And
I think we
I think
lose
we're on
today, 20-17.
Shut up. No, you don't.
27-10 is what I'm going with.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it'll be right around there. Hopefully we can. If we lose this fucking football game now, I'm blaming your ass. You want to fucking make jokes like that? I might cry if we lose this fucking football game. I mean, honestly, it really wouldn't hurt us except for playoff whatever. Because still, we'd still control our own destiny by going into Columbus next week. But let's not fucking let that happen. Because if we lost this week and won against Ohio State next week, we'd still go to the Big Ten championship.
Correct.
But let's not make that happen. Let's fucking
And
go into Ohio.
it actually might solidify two Big Ten teams going to the playoffs too.
No, we lose to Illinois and losing.
Listen, every team has a down game, and you can't.
Yeah, but good teams don't have down games
Big
and
Ten
lose.
teams are going because you can't. If we win the Big Ten championship and beat Ohio State, they can't put Ohio State in the playoff ahead of us, even though if we lost to Illinois, they can't.
Oh, they wouldn't. I mean, actually, they would because they go to the Big Ten championship. They would take the Big Ten championship, and that's exactly what would happen. Because Ohio State would go over us. I had a point to make, but obviously wasn't too important. But no, let's go into this. Let's go into next week 11-0. Let's fuck around and lose a fucking football game for no reason.
Right.
Especially when we shouldn't. Please no. Just got a notification. Chase Brown is good to go today for Illinois.
Oh, good.
So battle the running backs. Kind of an old school Big Ten football game, in my opinion. But that's because it's two old school coaches. I mean, Brett Bielema. All he did at Wisconsin.
It's cold here today too. It's 20 degrees, windy. So, we'll see.
I mean,
battle of the trenches, right?
Yeah, and I think we win just like we have all season. All right. Let's move on to picks. That's not what I wanted to do. Is there any good games on today? Okay, I fucked up. All right. So, first one. Down in Waco, you got TCU undefeated, trying to still can't lose a football game. They're way out of the question, in my opinion, trying to get in the playoff. They lose a football game. Play at Baylor today. 11 o'clock kick. Baylor is not – they're all right, and I think they could pull it off. They're 6-4, but Baylor's defense is horrible. I'm taking TCU by 2-3 scores.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. TCU. I'd like to see Baylor beat them, just to get them out of the conversation. I don't think they belong, but I think they pull it off again today.
Yeah. Of course, Alabama's playing fucking Austin Peay today.
Right. Your schedule,
dude. What the fuck? Next one, battle of the Big Ten. Probably worst two teams in the West. Wisconsin at Nebraska. Tickets are $5 for this football game, by the way.
So
tickets are $4
tickets to the big house
State
for
game.
$20 today.
Yeah, tickets to Michigan State today are $4.
They were giving away tickets free to this weekend's game. I meant to screenshot it.
They fucking they give up so fucking easy, and I love it. They're already on the fucking basketball season.
Right.
It's like they always are.
We're a basketball school. That's what you see now.
Oh, well, that's why Juwan Howard has a 3-3 record against y'all. I mean, But anyways, Nebraska, Wisconsin, $5 tickets to get in there in Lincoln today. Who you got?
I'm going with Nebraska on this one. We talked about it earlier. These kids seem to like their coach, want to play for him. The results didn't show on the field last week, but they've won a few games since he's been coached and Frost has left. Home game, I think Nebraska wins.
Yeah, Wisconsin's offense is just really, really bad. They've had a good defense this season, but I got to go with Nebraska too. Caleb Thompson, I don't know because this just popped in my head. I was listening to Bustin' with the Boys. Caleb Thompson was questionable, was probable. I'm sorry to play, but if he doesn't play, they might lose. But I think as long as he plays, I'm gonna go with Nebraska. I mean, not obviously I'm rolling with Nebraska either way, but I just exited out of ESPN. That's cool. Next game is gonna be the. Dude, there's no good games on today. I mean, it's kind of a rivalry game going on. Boston College versus Notre Dame. Boston College seems to usually play Notre Dame pretty easily. I mean, pretty good. I mean, not easily.
Yeah.
It's at Notre Dame. I think this will be my upset of the week. I'm going to take Boston College to win that football game.
Yeah, I'll roll with Notre Dame on that one. I was thinking about picking them. You did, so I'll go ahead and go against and have my lead.
Funny. Dude, there is not one good football game on this week.
So I'm gonna throw one out there because they always seem to play each other good. Neither team's very good, but Cal Stanford, who you got?
I'm gonna throw out there. I'm gonna go with Stanford. Stanford.
Yeah, I got Cal on that
one. Next one, Ohio State, Maryland today at College Park. I'm not going to say this is a trap game for Ohio State, and I think Ohio State wins the football game. But I think Maryland plays them a lot tighter than what a lot of people are expecting. Could be completely wrong, and Ohio State blows them out. But I think Maryland's still a good football team because they do have a good offense. And I think today we kind of might see Ohio State's defense get more exposed. So Jim and Jesse be watching that football game at 3:30 after our game's over.
Oh, they'll be on it.
But I'm gonna take Ohio State, but I think it's a close game.
So it won 100% a trap game, right? And I think all the things you said are true. I think that Maryland's passing game may expose their defense a little bit, but I do think that they ultimately win by at least 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Ohio State.
Next one. Sorry, I did find some good games today. We'll leave those two for the last two. Next one, Ole Miss at Arkansas. Arkansas played LSU tight last week, 13-10. That's why I think LSU is a fraud. I think Ole Miss wins. It's in Fayetteville, but I think Ole Miss just barely missed beating Bama again fucking last week. So, or last week.
Yeah, I'm Ole Miss.
You picked OSU, right?
Yes.
Okay. Six. All right. So next one, Oklahoma State, number 22 in the country versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma's kind of gotten better this season, but I think Oklahoma State wins it. Oklahoma State's kind of fell off, but I still think they win it.
Yeah, OSU for sure.
Can you stop picking the same fucking teams as me?
Well, I'm picking who I believe is going to win. There's no strategy here other than that.
I know. So at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, next one, we'll do a small game.
No, hang
on. You got a game?
Yeah, USC UCLA 7 versus 16.
I was saving those two for the last two. But that
Oh,
works.
okay.
No, that's the only reason I hadn't brought them up because there's that one.
Okay,
There's
then
Utah.
we'll move on. You got Utah, Oregon on the list too?
Yeah, those are the last two.
Okay.
I was just kind of saving those games for the end.
Yep.
That's not a big deal though. We can do them. Next one. There's really no other good games. Indiana, Michigan State. We'll just do that because I can't think of anything. Just because I hate Michigan State, and this is a shit show of a game in my opinion. Indiana comes into East Lansing and pulls off the upset.
And as much as I hate to say it, I think that one, the whole tunnel incident has kind of rallied them together, and they're playing a little bit better. And if they win today, they're going to be bowl eligible. So I think Michigan State probably wins, but
here we go. Here we go.
I'll ride with State.
I'm gonna ride with State, but if Indiana wins, I told you so.
No.
And then you're gonna get on the show next week and be like, "You gave me that Indiana pick, right?"
Listen, I clearly corrected my pick 2 weeks ago, and you cheated, and you see where that's gotten you, and so I'm good with that.
I cheated. Okay. All right. First big game of the day at the Rose Bowl, USC UCLA. I don't even know. I haven't watched either of these teams this year. I guess I watched UCLA, but they lost to Washington by like 10. I'm gonna go with USC. I think who's their quarterback? Caleb Williams.
Yep.
Fuck. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Oh, yeah, you can't change your mind now. That's what come out of your mouth, motherfucker. That's the rules you said.
I forgot they've been playing like fucking shit the past few weeks, though. Other than last week against Colorado, but Colorado's horrible. God damn it. I'm assuming you're picking UCLA. Thank you.
No, I'm going to go with USC.
Okay. Then the final game, probably the big game tonight, which Bo Nix is possibly out tonight for Oregon. Oregon and Utah at Oregon. This one's hard to pick because the Bo Nix is out. Hang on,
it's a game changer, right?
Let me just do some research for you and me here.
No research. You make the pick. 10 versus 12.
He's a game time decision. There we go. No, that's all I was doing was seeing what his status was, if he was probable. It's a game time decision. I think he plays, and I think Oregon loses and Utah wins.
Boy, that's what I think too. I really want to pick the other one just to go against you, but I can't do it. I'm picking Utah.
Well, let's see. Pick the same one game, 2 game, 3.
I think there's only 2 that we went against each
3.
other.
3.
Sometimes it be like that, huh?
I say cool.
There's not a lot of great matchups. It's all pretty lopsided.
No, there's no good games today, and it kind of sucks. At least big games on paper. I mean, the Pac-12 got big games this week. But that's really it. There's no games that stick out that hard like today. I think again, real quick, kind of go off topic from football here. Talk about the basketball team a little bit. I mean, just a quick. We got a little bit of time left, and just make a little quick talk. They looked like superstars against Pitt.
Yep.
Blew them out. Played great. And I didn't watch the Arizona State game because I was exhausted and it didn't start till 9 o'clock. and I ended up going to bed, which thank God I did. But I don't know what the fuck happened in that game. I mean, looking at box scores and things like that, it just looks like Arizona shot lights out, played lights out, and
So about halfway through the second half, they were shooting 80% from the field.
that's you ain't gonna win a basketball game,
and we
especially
were
playing as bad as Michigan was.
Right, and we were shooting like 27% at the same point in the game. And I might be off a little bit, but it was ridiculous. One, how well they were shooting, and two, the disparity. And two things have stood out. And when we've talked about Michigan basketball, at least I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast, but at least me and you, I've mentioned their defense a couple times. Defense is horrible, and they need a point guard. And there's some talk this week about them moving Kobe to point guard, and I think that's probably at least a worthwhile experiment to see. But those are our two big issues. We need a floor general. One of the things that I hadn't really thought about is that, Juwan has had no success recruiting his own point guard so far. We've gotten these guys from the portal who have worked out okay for us, but
I said this because he hasn't fucking recruited for point guard.
Right.
He just goes and gets them out of the portal, and I mean,
and that's kind of showing that's showing up right now is what I think. So we'll see. I think between Jet and Hunter, we had enough talent to carry us through and have a decent season. But if our team defense doesn't get better and we can't get the point guard situation figured out, might be a little bit of a long year for us.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll see. I mean, we looked like complete ass all year last year and made it to the Sweet 16, the only Big Ten team for the second year in a row to make it to the second weekend. Thank you very much. For all you fucking Spartards out there that want to fucking claim y'all are a basketball school, when was the last time y'all made it past the first weekend?
Right.
2018.
Right.
And then before that, it was like 2 years before that they made it. So in the past 7 years, you guys have made it past the first round like once.
Right.
We've made it, I think, 5 years in a row to at least the Sweet 16. 5 or 6 years to the Sweet 16. So I just want to fucking tell some Sparties to fuck off right now because they're all on their fucking high horse. And I think Kentucky was overrated. I don't think Kentucky was the number 4 team in the country. They're good. Not going to get you wrong. But Sparty thinks they already fucking got a national championship on their fucking banner when they have 2 goddamn national championships to R1. Michigan State's basketball program is, I promise you, other than Final Fours, which, I'm a fucking participation trophy, fucking runner up.
Right.
This shit don't mean anything. You gotta hang a banner. You gotta win. Gotta win it for it to mean anything. If you look at everything in the Big Ten between Michigan and Michigan State, I know I'm on a tangent now, but our basketball programs are no different.
No,
in my opinion.
Izzo had a really, really dominant stretch, but it's been a good decade since they've been on that. But
they're all on his dick again. They all wanted him fired. They all wanted him fucking fired for the past 2 seasons. But no, Tom Izzo's the fucking goat again.
I think 3/4 of Spartan fans right now would bet their life they're going to the Final Four this year.
I think 3/4 of Spartan fans would get on and suck Tom Izzo's dick too. But
that's more like 80%, 90%. But
fuck, man. Did you see real quick? Did you see that whole thing? That it turned out to be fake, obviously, but which I originally kind of thought that, but I was like, "There's no fucking way." But it wouldn't put it past me for fucking Michigan State to do some stupid shit like this.
The helmet decal?
That helmet decal that someone made and put it on like a fucking replica helmet. I was like, I seen it and I was like, that's fake. And I started like looking at it more and I was like, that might actually be real. And then like I started reading the comments and someone's like, it's got the Revo Speed face mask on it. And I was like, oh, they don't use those anymore. And that's what he said. And I was like, oh yeah, they don't. Like, so luckily this was fake, but I 100% would not fucking put it past me for Michigan State to do some stupid shit like that.
It's 1,000,000% something they would do.
And I don't know. It'd be
That's what made it funny because I bought it for a second too, and I started reading a little bit and researching it. And I'm like, all right, someone's just being a troll. And it was a fantastic troll job, but yeah, I don't think that anybody that's not a fan of them it would have surprised had they done that.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said. Sorry, I just kind of wanted to shit on Sparty for a second there. Always a fun time to do. Next week Aaron will 100% be on next weekend. We're gonna be on next Friday night, probably like 7-8 o'clock Eastern time at night. And we'll get ready for the game next weekend. But hopefully we'll get through today's game first and hopefully pull out the win. But
Absolutely.
As always, guys, have a good weekend. Enjoy football this weekend and go blue.
Hail.